Started. So, hi everyone, I'm Dina Ayman. I am a program manager at Microsoft and I'm an adjunct professor. I do have a presentation. Can I, is it? So Carlos, do you mind letting me share? I have a presentation, I can share it. I don't have the option to share the presentation. Okay. Yeah, so still not letting me share anything.
Can you try now?
Yes. You see it? You can see it, right?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So, hi everyone. So thank you so much for your time to meet today. I am a program manager, software program manager at Microsoft, and I'm also an adjunct professor at NJIT. So I'm teaching ECE 252, the microprocessors class, and super happy to be with you today. So I'll talk a little bit about my journey, what diversity and inclusion is, and how it is in the industry, and how to prepare for that step. And then I want to do Q&A if you have any questions about the industry or about internships or anything that that can help you. I would love to answer that. So, okay, so this is me. I'm an Egyptian American. I was born in Jersey, but spent most of my elementary and middle school between Egypt and here. I was there for the school and then here in the summer, and high school and college here in Jersey. After that, I worked with Intel as a network software engineer in Austin, Texas for 2 years. I started as a network software engineer and then I transitioned into program management a little bit. And after 2 years, I switched into Microsoft. So I'm doing technical program management there, leading a team of software engineers. And I'll tell you a little bit about what I do there. But I graduated from NJIT with both my bachelor and master's in computer engineering. I did a BSMS program where it allowed me to take the graduate classes before I finished my bachelor. And I think I was done with my bachelor classes December 2017. And in May, in one semester, I took 6 graduate classes and I was able to graduate with my master's too. So I had 2 graduations, 2 days apart. The first one I remember, like my friends were my siblings and friends were holding the posters. They're so proud of you, like super proud and happy for you. But then the second time they were holding one that says like enough graduations, we're tired. And I finished both, and I was applying to a lot of. I went to all like the NSBE. All the different conferences that you can think of, and I was applying to everything that I found like in the tech industry, like pharmaceutical, banking. Like I was all over the place, and I got I think like 10 or 11 offers from different companies. And I was NJIT success story at the time, and they were like writing about me all the time. So I found myself all over the news on YouTube. I even like found myself in like newspaper in Egypt, and they were all like talking how like soon I did my master's, and I was like on like physical newspaper everywhere. But like looking at all of this, it just like I was like, oh, people think might think like I'm a genius like doing all of that, but At the end of the day, it was just me like struggling in school. Like it wasn't like really something that was easy. It was just a lot of work, and the people that I thought was genius were studying with me up until like 1 or 2 a.m. in the library. So it's just a lot of work. It didn't require anything that no one can get. It just a lot of hard work. And if you can do it, I'll talk to you a little bit about what the program is, but it's possible and anyone can do it, and it's super easy, and it saves you a lot of time and even money, because some of the classes double counts towards your bachelor and your master's. So I'll talk to you a little bit about that. But I joined Intel right after I graduated as a network software engineer. So I worked on 5G. So I was on the leadership committee. I was leading their Women at Intel chapter in Austin, Texas. I did 5G for like almost 2 years. So I was coding chips that get placed in the base station for the network to get 5G. And then at the same time, I was also on the technology and Telecommunication Commission for the city of Austin. So I was working with the mayor office to kind of decide what all the technology related stuff for the whole city. So I was representing a district in the city. After that, I joined Microsoft as a software engineering program management. So I'm completely on the management side. So I lead a team of software engineers where I set the roadmap, talking to customers, I'm presenting that product that we're doing at conferences, making sure just the project is going end to end in a good like time manner. But I always had the idea that I wanted to teach in my mind. Since I started at Intel, since I have my master's, I wanted to be able to do something with the academia too. So I interviewed at UT Austin, and I got the job, but at the same time, I wasn't really sure if it's going to require a lot of time and energy, and it's going to take up from my full-time job, which is my job at Intel. So I ended up not taking it, but now I feel like I know like what exactly I'm doing, and I can like do it now. So I took on the adjunct professor position at NJIT, and I'm also teaching like part-time, but my full-time is the job with Microsoft. So today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about what diversity and inclusion is. So I feel like in college we don't hear about diversity and inclusion as much, but when you get into the industry, it's just such a big thing, and companies, like the good companies, value in the diversity and inclusion so much, and they value diverse candidates and what they can bring into the table. So diversity, it's just people from a different background, from a different like ethnicity, race, religion, everything, like diverse candidates. But inclusion is that you see a place for you at the table. So like you're invited to the meetings, and you feel good about the culture that you're working with. So you feel included. So it's okay to some companies do hire diverse candidates, but the inclusion part is not there. Like you feel like, okay, like I'm here, but I'm not included. So that's why a lot of companies like dedicate a lot of resources for diversity and inclusion. A lot of people that work just to feel to make the people feel included. And it's just super important for you to understand that you're valued as you are. You don't have to change who you are for you to feel that you belong. You belong exactly as you are, and that's exactly what companies want. So companies as Google, Microsoft, Facebook, Amazon, Intel, all the different companies and way more, why do they need you like as diverse as you are? So I'll tell you a little bit, like a little story that my VP told me at Microsoft. They were designing the Xbox, and that little remote control that you play with is was just so big. So they didn't in the team. They didn't have an Asian person, like just didn't exist. So they built the product with not considering like how it feels for Asian people. And when they released it to the market, it was selling everywhere, but not in Asian countries. And then they went back and like they studied what exactly was happening and why did it not like make it to the market there. And when they did that, they felt that they saw that the remote control or like that I don't know what you call it, like that controller, like the game controller, was way too big for a hands of an Asian people. So if they only had one, if they had one engineer in the team that was Asian, they would have just told them, and it would have made it so much better in the market for you to like market it. So that's why industries try to bring as much diverse people as possible. So they can include that in the process when they're building a product, when they're releasing something to the market. They want to tell like how's it going to look for Arabs, for Muslims, how Asians are going to use that product, how Black people are going to receive that. So as much diversity as they can bring to the culture of the company, as much success the company is going to do. Um, so how do you land in the best culture? So when the company is interviewing you, they want to know how diverse you are, how your mindset is different from people on the team. They don't want to hire someone who's exactly bringing the same perspective as other people in the team if they already have that. Like they want to bring other people that can have a different perspective than the ones that they already have. But when they're doing that, they're interviewing you to know like if you can fit to their culture. But I want you guys to know that they're not interviewing you, but you should also do it the other way around. You should also interview the other companies and see if that's the culture that you want to do. And by culture, I mean like the environment in the company, the work. Is that a place where you're going to feel like you're bringing your whole self and you're happy working at that place or not? So that's the culture that you really want to do. Maybe you can go work for a big company, but the culture is not as good and you feel like you're drained, you don't feel like bringing your whole self to work, and it's not going to be the best, and you're probably going to quit that job or like find something else. So before you make it there, you have to interview the company and see if that's the culture that you really want to be part of. So things that you should do at school before you come to the industry. So always have a good relationship with your advisor. Your advisor is supposed to be your best friend, and your advisor is going to tell you about the companies. They know so much about the industry that they can guide you through. They know like what conferences are happening. They can tell you like what conferences you should go to like be hired at good companies. Always do. So I actually interview people from Microsoft, and when I'm doing the interview for candidates, I try to look for people that are engaged with their communities. They have a lot of activities that they're doing. They have leadership roles. So these are things that the companies want to see on your resume. So make sure whenever you're putting a project or something on your resume, make sure that you're putting it in a way that shows the leadership role that you did and how that impacted others. So that's something really important that we look for, and always apply for scholarships like throughout your time at school. It's not just like the first year, and if you got it, got it. If you didn't get it, then you're done on your own. But there is a lot of like scholarships that you can apply for throughout the time. of your time at NJIT. And when I'm also interviewing people, I look for internships. They're so important. I want to see someone who has like hands-on experience. I don't want um, to just hire someone who has like a 4.0 GPA but doesn't have like internships. I would rather just hire someone who has hands-on experience in internships or research or co-ops. But it's okay for me to hire 3.0 or 3.5 GPA with the hands-on experience. Always keep that in mind. But don't limit yourself. You have to like dream big. Like when you're thinking about the companies that you want to apply, don't say like, oh, like why would I apply to Google or Microsoft or Intel? And I was at the same place when I was in school. Like if someone asked me like, oh, what do you want to do after NJIT? I was like, no idea. Just want to get out of here and just have a good GPA, do what I need to do at the time, but didn't know like what companies I can work for. And even when I went to conferences, I was like, oh, like why would I even go to Google? Like why would they hire me, or like why Microsoft or Intel? But that's the way that you're limiting yourself. Please don't do that. Like shoot for the biggest company, shoot for the biggest roles in the company. Don't be the reason that you limit your potential. Learn and develop skills, work hard and take that risk. Even if you have like 70% of the job requirement, go for it. Like you don't have to have like 100% of the requirements and apply for that job. So preparing for your career, always do what you really have passionate for. So don't do it just because of the money or like the company. Just do the major or the type of job or the internship that you really have passion for, and you're going to definitely excel in that field that you're working. In school, there's the Career Center that helps you so much with your resume. I remember like putting the things together with the Career Center. They help you find co-ops or internships. The internship. So I don't know if you know the difference. The internships are part-time job that you do. The co-op kind of substitutes for a class, so it gives you class credits and the work. So either of them, they're really good to put on your resume when you're applying for jobs. And I wanted to tell you like a little bit about the research. So there's two things that when we're interviewing people, we look for, either an internship or a research. So if people want to do industry right after college and you know that's what you want to do, then internship is the best way. If you want to do like PhD or something with academia, then research helps you a little bit better because it allows you to do research, and you can have publication that can help you with your PhD. National Science Foundation, I did one with them. They're really nice. They have like a really nice summer program, which is 10 weeks, and you used to like go to a college outside of the state if you wanted to. And it's paid for the whole summer that you have that program with. So they're really nice, but make sure before you graduate, you have like at least every summer you have an internship or a research, because that's what we look for. I found this really cool way to do your resume. I think like this overlaps. So it's called Enhance V. And it lets you like put your resume in a really like structured way, and you can like split it by skills, or split the time that you want to do, or like whatever you want to put on. It's really nice to like put it together. So I wanted to share it with you if that's gonna help you. And the graduate programs that I did, so I started in a BS PhD program, which allows you to start your doctorate classes before finishing the bachelor, and it double counts. And then I started in a PhD program, and I decided that I didn't want to do PhD after doing the research, so I switched into the BS MS program. which only allows you to finish your master's. So, so they're really two really nice programs that you should keep in mind if you want to do graduate studies. And the classes that you take double counts for your bachelor and your master's or PhD. So I always go by this, like choose a job you love and you will never have to work a day in your life. Like there is, I feel this so deep because my parents didn't want me to do engineering at all and they wanted me to be a doctor. But like me enjoying the type of work that I do as an engineer just doesn't feel as a job. Like I can work at night or weekends, but I'm just like enjoying that work so much. So that applies when you're looking for the company and the role that you want to be part of. Please do the one that you really have a passion for. If it's software, if it's program management, if it's hardware, please do the one that you only like really have passion for. But remember that you're not doing this alone. Like if you need any help, like I'm always here for you. I'll give you my contact so we can connect later. You can also connect with alumni from NJIT on LinkedIn. We always like really help, really love to help people if they have anything that we can help with. You can find people that work in the company that you want to apply for. They can help you put the referral on, and that helps you get on top of all the people that applied. But the most important thing is to not change your plan. So if your plan or goal is a specific thing and the world is saying otherwise, change that word, but not yourself, not your plan, not your goal. Because you're the next engineer, you're the next director, you're the next vice president, you're the next fellow, you're the next CEO, because you are the future. You really are. Believe in yourself, and I know you're gonna do great. And I wanted to give you time, like the next, I think like we have like what 30 minutes. We can have questions about the industry, about your career, anything that you want. Also, these are my contacts. I check my LinkedIn and Instagram pretty frequently, so you can connect with me on the two, and that's my email, so you can send me anything that that you need help with. But I'll open it up to questions. Please feel free to ask anything that you want.
I have a question.
Sure, go ahead.
So, Carolina wanted to ask how the transition was from being OE to software engineer.
Wait, I can't hear. How is the
From being
transition
a
from
from being a
software?
go from being a COE to a full-time software engineer.
So it was actually a little bit different. Like what we study in NJIT is a little bit different than what we do um, at work, like in the industry itself. So at NJIT, you kind of like get a little bit of like what microprocessors is and what like computer architecture, and then coding. At Intel, it was 100% coding. So and I didn't know like how much of like the networking side or the architecture is going to be, but it was 100% coding. So I would absolutely advise if you want to do software engineering, focus on the computer science classes than the engineering, and always do like projects with IEEE and I think like NSBE too. All the side projects really help in the industry. So as much as like coding that you can do hands-on is definitely going to help you. Any other questions?
I have a quick question. Just so you asked about the transition. What about what was different for like graduate programs compared to like undergrad? Because I am thinking of doing that soon, though I don't know how soon, since I personally would want to go into the industry as soon as possible. But
Right.
how is that different, even if you are coming back from an industry and you're trying to get back into schooling?
So the the really big advantage of doing that BS program or taking your electives as graduate classes is that it stays in your record for like 10 years, I think, or like 15 years. So even if you did when you're doing your bachelor, if you did your electives as graduate classes and decided that you don't want to do your master's and then you're gonna go into the industry or do it somewhere else, you can transfer that credit, um, I think, to any school, and it stays at NJIT if you wanted to go back. I would really recommend you doing that program, even if you didn't want to finish it. It stays in your record, so please consider that. And when you go to the industry, the advantage of like not finishing your master's and then go into the industry as soon as possible is that the companies like Google, Facebook, a lot of like the big companies, Microsoft, Intel, like they pay for your master's. So if you didn't want to finish it on your own and like pay for it, when you go to the industry, they pay for that. But if you have a couple classes that you took, you can easily transfer them and only have to do like 6 classes, because I think you can take up to 4 that double counts. And then once you go to the industry, they're gonna pay for the rest of the classes. Does that answer your questions?
Yeah, it does for the most part.
Sure. What was the part that I didn't answer?
Um, well, you actually answered everything for the most part. I just need to make sure how it ties into what I'm going to end up doing in the future, since I'm going to be a senior. And when the time comes, like I was told that it'd be a good idea. I think it was at a career fair. Somebody told me it'd probably be a good idea if I wanted to go for the position that I was going for, that I go to grad school. But I was thinking to myself, I that's expensive, and I kind of want somebody to help me pay for it.
Right. It is. So I actually really recommend the graduate classes because they go a little bit in depth. So they're closer to what you're going to do in the industry than your undergraduate classes. So when I was doing my master's at NJIT, I did networking, but just because I did, like I knew what exactly I wanted to work on. So the network classes helped me like program chips and like work with the Cisco routing and switching. And these were exactly what I was doing at Intel, because I was doing network software engineering. So they went in depth and they helped me so much understand what's in the industry and what we're helping. And they do focus on like doing projects, like hands-on. So that's really closer to what you're gonna do in the industry. So that's why it kind of helped me. But if you want someone to like pay for it, you can only take like 4 classes, four graduate classes. If next year is your senior year, you can take your electives as graduate classes and then go to the industry. And once you get to the industry, absolutely going to help you like prepare for that next step. And then the industry, like whatever company that you work with, they're going to help you pay the rest of it. And that's what a lot of my friends did too. They took a couple classes as electives and then they went to the industry and then came back to finish the masters, and the company paid for it.
Okay, that sounds pretty good, man. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have my own question.
Sure. Go ahead.
So, what advice would you give yourself back when you graduated? What advice would you give yourself now that
Mhm.
you're in your soft and you've experienced so far?
What advice would I give myself at school?
Yeah, yeah, or graduated.
I would do a lot of internships that I didn't know they were that important. Because when I was at NJIT, I was just like doing a lot of classes, and then in the summer I would just like go travel or do something fun. And I didn't do as much internships as I should, but if I went back, I would absolutely have an internship lined up every summer. And if I can do like a winter or fall, I would absolutely do that because that's not only it helps you, but even with your salary, if you do have internships and the company hired you with or without, like if they're putting two offers, if we are putting two offers to two different people, one had internships and like a really solid resume, and one didn't have as much, and maybe like one or two, the salary changes for the two people. So not only like it helps you understand what the industry is all about, like what the type of work that you're gonna do. You can do internships as program manager, or internships as software engineer, or internships as hardware engineer, and that helps you decide like what kind of type of work you want to do. But it helps you with the salary too. So when the company is offering you something and you have like a really solid resume, they want to make sure that they're getting you. So they put a lot of money that kind of forces you to like go with them than other companies.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything
Question
else?
in chat. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, let me put the chat.
NJIT class club experience do you think influenced your career?
So I was actually part of IEEE. We did a lot of like side project that absolutely helped me. I was also part of the EUP or EUF. I don't know like what they called it. They changed it a couple times. So they really influenced my career because they took us to conferences. And I got my interview and the job offer of Intel at the NSBE conference. So they were super, super, super helpful and impactful to my career because these conference, like the companies go to the conference just to like meet us and do uh, yeah, so EUF and EUP do give you extra money, but they take you on, they offer a lot of like conferences that you can go to, and they even like send people from EUF and EUP to be there with you and like guide you throughout the conference. If you need help with your resume, they absolutely do that. So if you're part of it, please take advantage of the conferences that even now, like as they are doing it virtually, the companies go on and they check resumes on the system from the conference, and we do hire a lot of people from the conferences. If you're not part of it, please make sure that you're going to those conferences because they're a huge support and like a good way to have job offers and internships and full time. Let me stop sharing. So I stopped sharing, but this is the link to my Instagram, and my LinkedIn is just Dina Ayman. If you have any other questions, we can go through it. But I mean, I can check the messages there, but please let me know if there is other questions now.
Question. I have another.
Ooh,
So,
sure, go ahead.
if you'll get an internship, what is the next best thing? Is it a project? Is it yourself, or what would
Yeah,
you
so yeah, if you didn't get an internship, a side project, any extracurricular that you can do, put that on your resume as like a section of like experiences or like projects section on your resume, and absolutely include that. But make it look, if you're not even taking the like the leadership role, make it look like this was the problem, this is what I solved, and that was the outcome. And that helps people looking at your resume trying to figure out like, okay, how was that impactful?
have any questions?
Any other questions?
ask now. This is a professional.
Uh, let me think, because I did have Let me think.
Sure.
Um, so concerning maybe concerning uh maybe earlier, like freshman sophomore year, like um maybe when you went to NSBE conferences and didn't necessarily have as much like, let's say, quote unquote experience on a resume.
Right.
um what would you put to compensate for that? Just to throw a question out there. Yeah.
Yeah, so I actually included so if you have like an impactful assignment that you did with a class, that's a good one to put on your resume. If you have like a group project that you worked on with your ECE classes, that's a good one to put there. IEEE for sure. um, if you got to like work on something like with high school students or something that you did with like a community service, that's a good one to put there. So anything that you do outside, like the hands-on experience or like the company, um, like a company experience that goes on your resume. So any project, assignment, group project, anything that you do with your ECE classes, CS, or even like math or like community service stuff that goes on. So I would just sit with myself and just go through every class. Did I do like a group project there? What was it? Like, what was the outcome? And just put it on my resume. And they count. They look at that and like want to see like what kind of projects that you did.
Does that answer your question, Tim?
Yeah, did that answer the
Oh
question?
yeah, that did answer my question.
Perfect. So there was one in the chat. Pursuing the BSMS program, did I choose to do the thesis or classes? So I actually did classes only because I started my master's the last semester of my bachelor's. So I took 4 classes and they double counted for my electives. And then the last semester, I just took 6 classes. So I didn't have time to like do thesis, but yeah, just classes based masters. And I was able to just finish it in the last semester. There are only 10 classes that you take. So if you decided not to do these thesis and do classes, there are only 10 classes and 4 of them can double count. And that I think like I took 5, but the school only allowed me to transfer 4 out of the 5. So I did that and then took 6 in one semester. Any other questions?
I have another question.
Sure.
So uh, I'm like Tim. I'm gonna be a senior next school year.
Mm,
I haven't had any internships with any companies. Done pretty much research every summer. So does that kind of equate in regards to experience and what?
yes, absolutely. So we look at the research and the internships the same way, but if you planning to go to the industry, I would advise you to just look for an internship this summer, like between your junior and senior year, just because that you're gonna get an experience of what the industry look like than the research, and it's gonna help you like network with people and get to know others in the industry and kind of feel what that kind of work is because it's a little bit different than doing a research. But even if you didn't get it, a research absolutely counts as the internship. And I can refer people to Microsoft. So if you found anything on the Microsoft website, I would love to refer you for that internship.
Oh, I applied to multiple, but I got rejected by all, so it's fine.
Oh. Yeah, don't give up. So keep applying. If I can refer you to any, please let me know. And if you didn't, just make sure that you have something this summer too. You can also do another research if you wanted to.
Yeah, that's the plan. I'm doing research with Professor Krisha in the.
Nice. They do count as internships and they're gonna absolutely help you.
Nice to know that. It would look better slash job seekers skills or higher proficiency, small amount of skills.
Student of skills or higher small amount. So that's what they call like a T-shaped engineer. Like some people have like a broadened skills and like a deep in like one area. And that's what actually the companies value a little bit better. Like both are great, but if you have a broader skill set and like different areas and like only deep in like one, that's absolutely valued. So both are great. Depending on the type of work that you're gonna do. If you're doing software engineering, they just um, want you to be like good in coding and like whatever language they're using, or maybe you can like develop a different language, but the broader your skills, definitely the better. So what do you recommend given so your senior design courses and projects are really good to put on your resume. So absolutely do great on these and absolutely compete. I think at the end you can like go into competition and like three of the winners get like a little visibility than the others. So these should be your top priority that last year and last semester. Your senior design is a really good story that you're going to tell when you're interviewing people, because they're going to ask you like, okay, what's your senior design project is going to be. So make sure that you're picking the people that you're going to work with are absolutely crucial to the project. So make sure that you're surrounded by like a good group of people that are going to push you. Your advisor, um, I'll think about it, but also go to your advisor. Your advisor is going to help you a lot. And I think Dr. Misra is the graduate advisor. If you wanted to like go to the next level, like make sure that you're talking to him about your project. He's the graduate advisor for ECE. And I think he's like on IEEE, he's the fellow or something. But I used to go to him for my project, and he would give me like tips or like things to do, and I would talk to my professors about it. So advisor, Dr. Misra. If you can like talk to people on IEEE, I think Dr. Professor Ficknos is a good one to talk to. And make sure you're putting that on your resume. And when you're interviewing with companies, make sure you're mentioning that and putting how much effort that you're doing in the project to the person interviewing you. My senior design project, I don't remember. I can't remember, to be honest. It was like what, 4 years, 5 years ago, 4 years ago. Yeah, I can't remember it, but I absolutely remember being in Dr. Mizra's office all the time, asking him about suggestions and things um, to like keep in mind and things to improve. Should you apply? So I started applying last first semester, so around like February, March timeframe. So that's when the conferences were happening, and that's when I was applying everywhere. So like your first semester of your senior year, to like secure something. And you interview early on, and they give you the offer, and you set up your first start date after you graduate. So you don't have to wait until you graduate to apply. You can apply early on, and they push your start date until your graduation. And if you want to like take a little break and then start. Yeah, absolutely. Other questions?
I have a question, but I would like to ask it.
Sure. Wait, Carlos, you said you have a question, but what?
But like, can I ask you it at the end?
Yeah, absolutely. Any other questions?
Feel
I have to ask, with um I should ask, when navigating conferences in particular, or you, conferences nowadays, or like at least for this year, have been virtual. Um, have you heard from any recruiters that you may or may not happen to know, like how the experiences differ from in-person conferences, and like how hiring is for virtual conferences compared to in-person conferences?
So I actually for Intel, I used to go to conferences, so I knew like how it is in person. But for Microsoft, we haven't been participating for virtual hiring in the conferences. They probably some parts of the company, but my group has only been doing like their hiring process, so away from the conference. But I heard from other people that even just like putting your resume on the system, that's what they like look for. So I know it's not the same, absolutely, and like they don't see you in person up until like they decide like who are the people they're gonna interview. But putting your resume on the system that they look for candidates in, absolutely gonna help you, even if it's virtually. Just putting your resume out there absolutely helps.
Okay, thank you for that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sorry, I don't know much because they haven't been going, like Microsoft hasn't been hiring from conferences lately. So I don't know much about that.
Any answer helps.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll check with like some of the recruiters, and I can tell you later if we're connected on like Instagram or LinkedIn.
Yeah, that definitely works with me.
Okay, perfect. Any other questions?
So I know that engineers aren't known to have good public speaking skills. That's just kind of the social norm, right? So
Right.
industry, how important is it now for engineers to develop that skill?
It's really important. And I think like the people that have like good presentation skills, good like people skills, good influential skills are the people that get promoted super fast, and the people they want to put in leadership roles as like management or directors or vice presidents, because these are the ones that are gonna like go on and like talk about their product to customers, and these are the people that are gonna bring customers to the company, and these are the people who are gonna like be sure they're bringing the teams together um, and getting people together to work better. So absolutely crucial skill. So make sure like you're working on your technical skills, but the soft skills are so important. Public speaking is so important. People skills, influential skills. So when you're hired at a company, make sure that you're doing a lot of like extracurricular, like diversity and inclusion, leading like chapters like Black at Microsoft or Black at whatever company that you're working on, like women at Microsoft. Like these are like the chapters that gonna help you develop these skills. And they count that when they're promoting people. Like if they have like two good engineers and they're both great at the job, like if one is doing like diversity and inclusion stuff or like leading like one of the employee resource groups and the other one is just good at their job, they're going to promote the one that that is doing the extracurricular stuff.
Yeah.
Great question though.
Have any questions?
Any other questions? Any other questions, anyone?
So, actually, yeah, I forgot to ask this, but
Sure.
what do you work at specifically? What you said that you work at software soft. So, what is what's the product that
So they have been a couple ones. So when I first started with Microsoft, I was doing so I was doing. Oh, I'm trying to like get that. Yeah, so when I first started with Microsoft, I did real-time communications. I was working on all the backend for Teams, like the Teams app, the Microsoft Teams. We were doing all the what is it called, the backend for all the chat, the video conferencing, all everything like communication wise. So all the real time communication for Teams, and it was used by like WhatsApp and like other apps all over the place. So real time communication, and then after that, I was working with Windows. So it's like an open source project called Project Reunion. Like I copied the link here. So that's what I'm currently working on. I'm also working on the Windows search. So like when you search on Windows, like on the bottom, it tells you like everything that pops up, like my team is responsible for that. So all of the Windows search platform work. But there is a lot of like great things at Microsoft. Like I was actually working on Xbox too. So all the real-time communication on Xbox for people to like talk to each other. So a lot of like great cool projects to work on. And you see that in the market and see like people using the product that you're working on.
So, how often? So, because I've talked to my mom, and she's also a software engineer. Works at I was talking to her, and she's saying that the company likes having people move from aspects of the of. She's telling me how a software engineer that's in a department that also wants to learn more about the business side. So is there
You
any?
you were cutting off, Carla. So were you saying like internal mobility, like move from
Yeah. Yes.
project
Yes.
to the other?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And they push for that. So like when you're having like a one-on-one with your manager, they want to make sure that you're happy working on the project that you're working on. But if you want to look for something else, they want to be like the ones that offer you that. So you don't have to leave the company to work on something else. So sometimes when we're talking with our managers, they would tell you like, oh, Like, are you happy with the project that you're doing now? Do you want to switch to something else? If there's another group that you might be interested in, the managers or the hiring managers make sure that they give you that opportunity to move. Because if you ended up like not liking the job that you're doing and wanted to go somewhere else, then they're losing your talent. But if they keep you even on a different project, that's a gain for the company. So they always like push for that internal mobility to be able to move within the company instead of just like moving outside.
Else have any questions? Also have another question. So, uh, so you work at Intel, right? You were Texas.
Right.
You were. So I hear that Texas now is a lot of software companies are moving. So is it the new Silicon Valley?
Yes, it is.
Because
So there is all the companies that you can think of in Austin, Texas, especially like there's nothing in Dallas or Houston. I think there's like few companies that might be in Houston, but Austin is growing like crazy. There is like Google, Facebook, Amazon, Tesla moved their headquarters, Oracle, all the companies that you can think of, and it's way better than the Silicon Valley. So um, absolutely not as expensive as California. The people are super nice. The city is amazing. Like I loved it, and I really want to go back. So I would absolutely encourage you to like apply there. And if you like ended up wanting to move, all the companies are there, so you don't have to like relocate again. Um, so absolutely, absolutely agree. And it's a great city to live in. And I think it was voted like the best city in the States to live in based on like the cost of living and everything happening for like a couple years in a row. And
that's my plan actually to move
yeah,
there.
me too. I actually want to go back because I report to the headquarters office for Microsoft in Redmond, so Seattle area, Washington. And I really, really want to go back to Austin again. It's a great city and has everything, and the people are super nice. Like everything about Austin is just great.
Does Microsoft have headquarters there as well, or just the venue?
No, they have an office, but the headquarters in Redmond, so the Seattle area is their headquarters office, but they do have an office in Austin. But when I was looking for jobs as a program manager, I couldn't find like one that was engineering based. Most of the ones there were like business, so I wasn't able to find one, but I really want to go back.
There's a question in chat.
Yeah.
Experienced a lot of discrimination or bias in the industry? If so, how do you handle it?
So I did once about I wasn't really sure like what was the reason, but with my first manager at Intel, and I hate to say that because Intel like has a lot of like great people, but I was hired by my vice president at Intel, so he was like 4 or 5 levels up my management chain. But I was having like trouble with my first line manager, and I went on and I like talked with the vice president, and I was able to like kind of solve it, and he was able to like move me into the project, a different project, but you will find like few people. There are not that many. Like a lot of like people right now in the industry have been like learning and how to be like inclusive and how to like hire diverse people. So like they're getting a lot better, like everywhere, even Microsoft. But the discrimination is always there. Like you're gonna find like one person everywhere. So absolutely speak about it. And if you were able to like get to someone who has an authority or have the power to make that call, talk with them, because they will be your advocate, and they're going to be absolutely changing that situation for you. So my vice president was that advocate and mentor, and like such a great leader that was able to like send HR people to educate that team, because it was a little bit of like an old school a little bit, and they made the change. So if you ever like experience that, please speak up. Like I had people like in that first team, like I had people just like leave the company, and they left Entel and everything just because of like one person. And they didn't speak about it. Even like when they left, the company like was asking them like, are you leaving for like something else, or like just growth? And they just said like growth. And that doesn't help anyone. Like it doesn't help you. And sometimes it like stays in something he put, it stays in your record. It doesn't help other people. So please speak up. Like I was able to speak up and change the situation. And when I left, like I said, everything that was happening, so made it better for other people after me. Yeah, speaking up is the key. Absolutely. Any other questions? If you have any questions that you don't want to ask here, or like want to ask me anytime that something like came up to your head, please like connect with me on like Instagram or LinkedIn. I'm pretty active on the two. Yeah. The link again in the chat, and please, yeah, just message me anytime if you need any help.
Chad, what does it take to get into software engineering?
It takes your degree at NJIT and knowing how to code. So I've seen people actually hired as software engineers, and they have like a business degree or don't have like a college degree. So if you know how to code, that's all it takes, honestly. So Google and Facebook announced that they're going to be hiring people with just high school degree if they know how to code. So absolutely, just know, be like good at coding in one language. You don't have to like know all of them. But you're here in JIT and you're doing your degree, so you're gonna be you're doing that like extra mile, and just knowing how to code is enough for you. Good practices to continue learning. So at Microsoft, they have like a really nice day. So we had that yesterday. So like one day a month. We don't have any meetings. We don't have like work stuff to do, and they call that the day of learning. And we take that day to like learn something new, and then share it with the team if we want to share it in the team's meeting. So always like dedicate time to learn. I thought this was like a great way to just like focus on just learning. Like I'm just here to like learn something new, and always have a plan to that. So if you just like dedicated like every Sunday or every other Sunday, I'll learn something new. If it's coding, or if it's like communication skills or presentation skills or any of that, if you just like dedicate time to learn and be consistent with it, that's absolutely gonna help you and excel your career. Any other questions?
Shy.
Yeah, feel free to just message me anytime if you want to. Um, but yeah, if anyone has any questions right now, feel free to just unmute yourself or put it in the chat. If nothing, just message me anytime. I'm here to help you. Anything else? Any other questions? I'll let you guys go. Oh, there was another one. How was the hiring process at Microsoft? So Shah, there was, so I applied. So if you have a referral, it helps you, but I applied on my own. And sometimes the recruiter reach out to you on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is super powerful, so make sure that you're like active on LinkedIn. Recruiters absolutely like hit your inbox every now and then for like good offers. And once you like put your resume in the system, so I applied on microsoftcareers.com on my own, and I heard back from one of the hiring managers. We did a phone interview, so that was like 30 minutes or 45 minutes, and then if you did good on the phone interview, they ask you to come into the office. But right now everything has been virtually, so we've been inviting people on Teams to just interview. So once you make it to the interview loop, you have 4 or 5 people interviewing you, and we everyone is testing for like an area, and they're all done in like one day, and after that the managers come together and every one of us just share what they thought about that candidates and what their final hire or no hire. And then depending on all the people that interviewed you, we come together as like a committee, and then make a hire or no hire, and then you hear back in like a week or 2. That's the hiring process. Any other questions?
At your first industry, does that
I can't
set?
hear you, Carlos.
Sorry, can you?
I'm sorry. Yeah, I can hear you now. What was that?
So, once you get your first job in industry, that kind of make it easier for you to get jobs later on? Like, is it just, does it make it easier from like the get-go after you get your first job to find other jobs?
Absolutely. So after you get your first one, so before you get your first one, sometimes you don't get as much like recruiters reach out. So you're reaching out to companies to hire you, but after you get the first one and you have that on your resume, on your LinkedIn, companies now look for you. So they want to like take you from that company that you're at and hire you at their companies. So once you have the first one, and you have like a hands-on experience, it makes it so much easier to be hired at any company that you want. So if you only got like few companies and didn't get as much luck as the companies that you want, absolutely go for the one that you have right now and have that hands-on experience and put it on your resume, and then it will make it so much easier for you to apply in the future to others. What's a good wow factor to make yourself stand out from other candidates? Make sure in that interview or on your resume, so on your resume, make sure that you have leadership roles. So if you're in a group project and you led the group, make sure they saying that you were acting as the manager in that group that you were working on. But in the interview, make sure that you take it a little bit personal and share with the interviewer like who you really are and how is your journey. So they, after the interview, when we come and sit in that committee, like people remember like, oh, he told me this, or he told me that, or he worked on that project, and he made like such and such of an impact. So make sure that you're leaving something for the interviewer to remember you with. I remember I was actually in an interview loop for Microsoft, I think like 3 weeks ago or like a month ago. And one of the people that I interviewed, I thought he was good. Like there was nothing like that wow factor. It was just like a standard. He's good. He's good technical. Maybe like his people and management skills wasn't as good as his technical. But I thought I at the end of the day like put like hire him. But when I went on in the committee and saw like what other people was putting, there were two other people that said to like no hire and like not hire him decision. And when I asked them, I asked one of them like, why did you like put like no hire for that person? And he was like, Microsoft is one of the best companies in the world, and we hire one of the most talented people. I didn't see anything that stands up and that stands out in that person for me to hire him into Microsoft. And at that point, I was like, okay, maybe like you really have to like put something that people remember for you, or like feel that oh like that person like has something, like his leadership skills were really good and he did this and that, for you to like have someone to advocate for you, for the company to hire you. That answers your question. Any other questions? Absolutely. We're all good.
Yeah, it sounds like everybody's good. Just wait, wait. Oh, okay. There's a question.
What advice would you give to someone that is about to finish their undergrad? Believe in yourself. Absolutely. Do that for yourself, because no one is going to do it for you. Like if you believe that you deserve to be at this company, go on and apply and advocate for yourself and put like your stuff on LinkedIn for people to like know who you are and recruiters to reach out to you. If you're in the industry and not getting that promotion, go on to up to your management chain and advocate for yourself and tell them that, okay, like I think I believe I should be promoted by now. Like, why am I not promoted? Like, just believe in yourself and just be the person that advocates for you, because just yeah, it has to be you. If it's not you, it's not going to be anyone else. So absolutely believe in yourself and don't limit yourself to certain things just because you think like you're not going to make it to um, the next level. Just go on and take that risk and apply um, and just do amazing things, because that's what you can do.
I would also like to add,
Sure, go ahead, Carlos.
I definitely think the word perseverance comes to mind.
Yes, absolutely agree with you.
Junior C department, COE, challenge. That personally, classes that I'm taking.
Wait, Carlos, you were saying something. I heard challenge, but didn't hear anything before it.
Oh, it's gonna be a challenge. I said that it's gonna be a challenge.
Right.
It's definitely not an easy road.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say
Absolutely,
this,
but you
that
can do it, and there's a lot of people that did it and paved the way. So, so just believe in yourself and just go for it. It's gonna be tough, but the first step is always the hardest.
have any questions.
I don't think there's anything else, but please feel free to message me. I'm here to help you anytime. Um, and just wish you all the best of luck, and hopefully we can connect again soon.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for speaking today.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure to be with you guys. Best of luck with everything, and please let me know if I can help in any way.
Actually, I have a question. I have a question.
Sure,
I have a couple of questions.
sure, go ahead.
So, so, um, participate in IEEE and be vice president of the chapter next school year.
Mm-hmm. So
I
far.
have some plans. I want to do some events for the IEEE chapter, but not just to kind of keep it within the EC department, so kind of expand it to other.
Right.
So, and I was thinking of kind of, I know every year, every school year that, or try to, that we have a day,
Mm-hmm.
try to do an event. And I was thinking to kind of extend that, leave it for one.
For what? I'm sorry, Carlos. It was kind of.
Sorry, an Arduino day. That's where like that's a day where like we have students learn about Arduino.
Mm-hmm.
It's about that.
Right.
Um, but I have like I would like to kind of extend that to not just a day, maybe like a weekend, and kind of make it a hackathon.
Mm.
So I would sense where it would
Oh, that's really nice.
it would be great if you could sense where love I would say that we would sense
Yeah, absolutely. I would absolutely support that. That's a great idea. And if you want me to like talk to the dean or anything, just let me know. So just email me. Feel free to email me anytime, and I can support that with you.
because thing is that of course we need to sponsor it. So I'm
Right.
not asking you directly right now that to ask Microsoft to sponsor it, but I'm just in
Right.
the sense where we would like to kind of figure out a way to kind of connect with companies.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to talk to you. So if you have like a proposal, I can take that to the company and just tell you like what they can do.
Okay, yeah, I got a proposal.
Yeah,
I got
yeah,
a
I can
proposal.
absolutely work with you on that.
Great, yeah. 'Cause, so trying to organize.
Yeah, perfect. That's a great idea.
Yeah, so I'll be in touch with you.
Sure.
But also, I think that we actually last week we actually resume review.
Hmm.
So I know for pretend so for next because I'm also gonna be like that.
Right.
So you get would it be have you there?
So when is that?
No, so we're gonna organize it for next school year. We had one last week, but
Yeah.
I'm just saying that we would like to have you as